about the importance of storytelling. What kinds of stories belong on a giant screen, and how to tell them in a way that maximizes the promise, as Reed said in the previous session, of this giant screen as you walk in this theater. How to assure audiences get what they've come for. So here's what's going to happen. We've got three groups of filmmakers who are going to talk to you about their approach to storytelling for the giant screen. We're going to show you some film. All of the film is 15x70. Before I start, I want to thank a lot of people who worked very hard to make this happen. Certainly Andrew Oren and Rick Gordon. This session would not be possible without you. Thank you to you and your teams. The team at McGilvery-Freeman, certainly Steve, Chip, Lori, and Matthew as well. Thank you very much. The team at SK for picking these clips as well. Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Hello again. Okay, so I'm going to start right away because we do have a lot of film, we've got a lot of discussion, and I want to allow it to be relatively freewheeling in terms of if you have a burning question. We're going to do this. Each group of filmmakers is going to have 30 minutes, and that includes time to show the clips that they've prepared. What I just want to start with is to say that we initially polled the membership. We polled theaters as to what films or sequences in films that exemplify exceptional storytelling for the giant screen. We got not as many responses as we would have liked, but we know you're besieged by surveys as it is. One of the things that was fascinating is, and we're going to talk about some of this, butterflies came up a great deal. There's a clear reason why it's here. Many of Steve's films came up, certainly Everest, certainly Coral Reef Adventure, the Alps, which we're not able to show you today. And then the second film, which is a surprise, it's a film from 2001. Bob Talbot is here to talk about Ocean Men, which is one of my favorites over the years. So you guys get to see that. It's a real treat. All right, let's launch in. I'm going to introduce Steve Judson, who, for those of you who do not know Steve, he is a multiple threat. So Steve is a director, he's a producer, he's a writer, and an editor with McGilvery-Freeman Films. I counted upwards at least 20, perhaps pushing 30 films for large format that he has edited. And many of which he's directed, I think 7 films that you've directed, thereabouts, and produced as well. And then a number of films, something like 11 films that Steve has written as well. Now, in talking with Steve, we discussed what clips that he would like to show. I'm going to turn it over to Steve, that he can introduce and set up this first clip, and then we're going to talk it through. All right? Over to you, Steve, to introduce the very first clip.
Thank you, Daniel. The first clip we're showing is from Everest, and it's only a 3-minute clip. The tragedy and storm is about an 8-minute sequence, and this is the last 3 minutes of it. And at this point, you will have seen, in the movie, Ed Viester's with Rob Hall as he was caught and trapped high in the mountain during the storm. We recount the story of Rob talking to his wife in New Zealand. She was pregnant. They talked over Ed's radio, and he did not survive the night. And we've introduced another character that the audience had never heard of until the storm hit, which is Beck Weathers, and explained that Beck had been left for dead. He stood up, left his pack, and staggered, half blind, into camp. You've just seen an interview with Beck with his nose gone, his big chunks out of his face, where he said, I was going to keep on walking until I either stumbled into camp or walked off the face of the mountain. And it's at that point, you see him staggering to camp, and that's where we are when you see this clip. Let's roll the clip.